Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. If you're new here, it's 𝗙𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗄 as always. Thank you guys for the support and the love and everything that you guys are doing for the channel. It really means a lot to me and I appreciate you guys so much. So in today's video, this is something that I personally don't want to see on the internet, but yeah, I ended up seeing it. But anyway, before I get into my own opinions, let's first watch this clip and then let's talk about it.
If we go back like a couple hundred years, it was pretty normal to own slaves. Is that right or correct?
Why are we talking about slavery? Honestly, back then, a lot of Black people participated in the slave trade themselves. So
Yeah, that doesn't make slavery right. Are you trying to defend
it was
slavery?
a product of the time, dude. It
Are
was
you
a
trying to
product of the
defend
time.
slavery?
Did you not see Matt Walsh's new video on this topic? Ending slavery, but I think we're illogical if we didn't realize that a lot of Black people enjoyed being slaves back when slavery was a thing. I mean, it's just in history. I've read about a lot of Black people not only participated in capturing slaves, but a lot of Black people enjoyed being slaves. Because of course, when you're
Really?
brought up doing something like being a slave your whole life, it's all you know. I'm sure a lot of slaves probably enjoyed it and were happy because that's the only lifestyle they were aware of. Can you not think like that? Is it really that dense?
I have
of you?
never heard of somebody enjoying having to work countless hours on a plantation, being dehumanized and whipped and told they're not human, and being beaten within an inch of their life and being
saying that's
I don't think
okay.
that people
I'm just
enjoy
saying
that.
you can't deny the fact that there were probably slave owners that, just like there were really bad ones, there were probably slave owners that probably treated their slaves really nice too, right? You're not thinking logically. You're being so dense. Of course, we're not in that time period anymore.
But you're defending slavery.
I'm not defending it. I'm saying it was a product of the time. I think there were probably a good majority of Black people who back then were born and raised as slaves, probably because that's the only thing they knew. It was the environment they grew up in. If they had a slave owner who treated them well, they probably enjoyed their lives, a few of them. I think it's illogical to believe that every person who was a slave back then hated their life. I truly think that's illogical. I do. I'm just giving you the facts. Aren't you all about facts over feeling? Right. And I do too. But the fact was back then, I think you're illogical if you think that some of them didn't enjoy being slaves or enjoy their lives. And I'm not saying slavery was a good thing. You're not going to try to make it seem like that's what I'm saying, because I don't know what you want me to say. If you want to believe that every person back then who was a slave hated their life, go for it.
See, this is what happens when you rewrite history books in school education. So this is where we're going towards in the state of Florida, telling children that Black people enjoyed being slaves, enjoyed being bred, enjoyed their children being taken away from them, enjoyed the fact that they never got to see their children again. I don't believe they enjoyed that. They didn't enjoy being whipped. Even if there was that one slave master who was just the best slave master there was, you're still enslaved. You have no choices, no destination that you set yourself in your life. You could not leave. You couldn't leave. Just imagine being in prison your whole life with the best warden you ever had. You're not enjoying that yet. Please stop the madness. Stop the madness.
Black people enjoyed being slaves back when slavery was a thing.
Let's go over the worst punishments for slavery together, and then at the end, you guys let me know if you would enjoy this in the comments. And we're going to do the top 5 I think are the worst. Number 1 is mutilation. I'm not going to go into this one because TikTok might take this video down, but use your imagination. Number 2, whippings, which is George Washington's personal favorite. In America, slaves, including pregnant women and children, were often whipped as punishment. Some owners did not stop there. When their slaves' wounds began to heal, these owners ordered that these wounds be split open and products such as red pepper and turpentine be applied to the gashes. Public burnings, which are often an example to other slaves what would happen if you disobeyed. Forced reproduction, one of the worst ones in my opinion, because not only are you going to go through the horrors of slavery, they're going to force you to have a child and make the child go through the same things. Suspended beneath a cooking fire, this is what Harriet Jacobs said her slave master's favorite punishment was. But yeah, that's it. Let me know if you guys think these are enjoyable things that Black people went through.
Sure, a lot of slaves probably enjoyed it and were happy because that's the only lifestyle they were aware of.
What life experience brings someone to that level of delusion? That is so far beyond anything that is even remotely rational. I just can't understand it. It is impossible for me to wrap my mind around how someone could be that far gone. The way my brain works, I have a compulsive requirement for things to make logical sense. And even for things that I disagree with, sometimes I can see how that person came to that thought, even if I don't agree with it. But when the dots are so far disconnected, I'm just lost.
Realize that a lot of Black people enjoyed being slaves back when slavery was a thing.
Be fucking for real. She said that with a smile on her face too. I really don't like saying things like this, but having a conversation with like conservatives and reactionaries, it's like having a conversation with a literal toddler. Critical thinking just does not exist in their space. All of these conservative districts and states that are passing these anti-CRT bills, this is how they want to teach history. Exactly like this. To be able to say this shit with a smile on their face. And I've heard this argument before. I hear it all the fucking time. I live in the South. The conversation of slavery is about the ownership of a human being. You can't even talk about systems of oppressions with these people because they don't even think that way. And on Twitter, she goes on to say, the left is calling me racist, taking this out of context. What additional context need to be had, huh? What else can you say? You're clearly a racist.
Well, if we didn't realize that a lot of Black people enjoyed being slaves back when slavery was a thing.
Around a lot, right? And one, it's fucking stupid and untrue. But more than that, it's so malicious, right? Because it's unquantifiable, it's unverifiable how many slaves or slave owners treated their slaves well, you know? And let's ignore the oxymoron there of being a slave owner and somehow treating your slave well. There's been this sort of effort on social media to kind of downplay what slavery actually was and to kind of make out the slave owners to kind of be the victims, right? And obviously that can be further from the truth. And if you're like, oh, well, I don't know, I've kind of heard stories about good slave owners. Do me a favor and find two accounts of a slave talking about how they didn't have it so bad. And I'll wait. Stupid fuck.
So as you've seen in the video, this is something that I as an African saw, and I felt really hurt about how people in 2023 can come out and say these horrible things about my ancestors. I can't really understand how there is no sympathy when it comes to talking about things that concern Black people, especially when they are coming from people that do not look like us. And one thing I really hate about this video specifically is both of the people, the one with the blonde hair and the one with glasses, is that they didn't have this conversation to have an ending. It was more of having this conversation to act like the one of glasses, who is called Naomi or Naomi, to be the one, or it's not okay to say that slavery was okay. It's not okay that people were owned. She wasn't really getting fully into the conversation to come out with maybe a solution or what's the ending of the conversation. It was more that she was doing it to impress and make the other person called Kelly look bad. And yeah, she did it. But to me, it was very horrible on how they were both presenting themselves. She kept looking in the camera and saying, you shouldn't say that Black people enjoyed slavery. It's not good to say that. But she was doing it to get attention to me. It wasn't coming from a very, like, an emotional state. And as an African, I'm like, why did you even have to have this conversation? Because if you can't have a conversation like slavery that happened to my ancestors or Black people without a solution that you need to give out, why are you talking about the situation that happened? And then for the one of blonde hair, who is basically saying that Black people enjoyed being slaves, I would say that I understand that the kids that were born in the process of that, where slavery was a thing, as she was saying, never knew anything else apart from that life. I can understand that. But for her to say that, you know, you shouldn't all think that all slaves were mistreated or treated bad or killed or lynched. What do you mean? Human beings were owned by other human beings, and the things that they were given as punishment was mostly death. And it's okay with you. So it's okay to be a slave owner to her. Would she feel okay if her people were enslaved and then, like, you're given the time to eat, the time to drink, the time to sleep, the time to work, and actually work for free? And she's also saying, you know, they were slaves, but they were fed well. So you can own some human being as long as you feed them. They can work countless hours as long as you give them food. And what really got to me also is her giving quotations from another person who is a white man, who is Matt Walsh or something like that. I'm like, really? You're going to talk about Black people and give examples of reviews from a white man? What are you saying? What do you mean? And why would you say my people enjoyed being slaves? Like, how? I mean, we are living in a time of 2023 where people don't even want to work for, let's say, 12 hours a day and they're getting paid. Imagine if you work for all those hours and you're not paid, you're not given freedom, but yeah, you're given food. You should be proud. You should, ooh, yay, I have food. Yeah, I'm fed. It's okay, I'm a slave, but I'm given food, but I can work for countless hours. I can be lynched, I can be done all these evil things because I'm given food. What? Like, I don't know how to express myself. I just felt so hurt and so offended. And she didn't apologize in a genuine way. She didn't even apologize because she feels like what she said is true. There's no way you're going to say people were in people's hands without their freedom, and in 2023 you want to act like it was okay in that time because, oh, it was a product of that time. What do you mean by product? Your people were enslaving my people and you're saying it was a product, and then you're saying my people enjoyed being in that system, which actually you're still, you know, benefiting from. Like, you're still in the same system, just they changed the laws and regulations, but it's still the same system. You're still benefiting from it. We as descendants are still not benefiting from it. But you want to come online and act like, oh, that was a long time ago, we are in 2023. But she's also fighting to, yeah, fight for transgenders. Why is she defending or kind of fighting for children that are being transformed when they are young? I mean, she should just accept it that it's a product of the time and people are okay to change their bodies or change their children's bodies because it is a product of the day in 2023. Yeah, and she should be okay with that, but she's not. And then she came online and was saying on how people are attacking her on Twitter, making her look like a racist or calling her a racist, which she clearly is, and she's not admitting it. Because if you're not, there's no way you can come online and say that slavery was okay and people who are not looking like you were okay to be slaves. Guys, this is the time where we as Africans, as Black people, really need to push and teach our children the real true things that need to be told. Because if now they are teaching children or people that our people, our ancestors, my Black ancestors, my African ancestors enjoyed being slaves, soon you're going to study on how our own ancestors took themselves into slavery. Like, they signed papers to go and work as slaves. It's the thing that is going to happen soon. Like, I mean, we should expect it. Oh my God, really? I just don't understand why people that don't look like me have the energy to come out and speak so much about me and my experience or my people's experience that they didn't even experience themselves, that they don't even experience themselves. Like, why are you talking for a group that doesn't look like you? Stop having conversations that you're not going to have a solution to, especially if they're not from the people that look like you. As simple as that. Like, these are the people that really make me feel like maybe all white people are horrible, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to think that. But these people really need to be taken accountable for the words that they are saying. It's insensitive. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. So guys, that was it for today. I hope you liked the video. Tell me what you think. Do you really think like our ancestors enjoyed being slaves? Like, do you think it's okay to own another human being and be in control of another human being and not have the freedom that God gave you to have on this planet, on this earth, and enjoy the fruits and the flavors that God gave everybody on this planet? Is that even logical? Guys, that is it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.